Well, the heads of each judicial circuit, the judge in charge of each judicial circuit essentially decides for that circuit whether they want to require mediation, and in most cases it's only on homestead property. So those viewers who are talking about their rental properties, this doesn't apply. It's to help people save their homes. So the judges decide.
Is this after a foreclosure notice?
It's when the foreclosure is filed. So in those circuits where mandatory mediation is required for a homestead property, the foreclosure attorneys who represent the banks know that normally within 10 days of their filing their complaint, they then have to submit the paperwork for the mandatory mediation, and they have to pay for it. The lenders have to pay for it.
Okay, so you know, Shari, I was reading that there was this new research that showed that homeowners who attended government-sponsored mortgage mitigation counseling programs were 60% more likely to stay in their homes than those who tried to navigate the process by themselves and saw their monthly payment reduced more than $450 on average than those who didn't receive the counseling. Is this different than the mandatory mediation? Is this a different, okay, what is this?
There are HUD-approved consumer credit counselors, and anyone who doesn't take advantage of this opportunity, this is part of the great American do-over, who doesn't take advantage of this opportunity to see them for free and talk to them for free is crazy, because they have some really good ideas on how to save money, how to cut your expenses, because remember, part of the equation of making a home affordable may involve increasing your income with a second job, or it may involve decreasing your expenses, your utility bills, you know, whatever else that you can. Free information, free suggestions, and they'll help you come up with a budget. And yes, you're correct. In fact, for the mediation programs, talking to a counselor is required before you can show up for your mediation.
Wow. All right. Shari Olefson, author of Foreclosure Nation, is our guest today, and we look forward to your emails and calls and see what you want to ask her today. We'll be right back. Joining us today, nationally known mortgage and foreclosure expert, attorney Shari Olefson. Her book is called Foreclosure Nation. Excellent book, but she also has a website, foreclosurenationthebook.com, where you can ask her questions if you don't get in today, and she will answer them. She says, I'm sure she will. Tom emails us, can you please discuss the produce the note idea, and does it work, and how? You've seen that idea? When you say to your servicer or your lender, you know, produce the note if you tell me I have to pay for it. Have you heard this tactic? Does it work?
At the end of the day, no, because it's very rare that a court is going to deny a lender complete repayment, especially on a monetary default, just because they don't produce the note. In this climate, there's been so many assignments, and there are a lot of other collateral ways to show that. There were some cases, law cases, out of New York where there was significant abuse by lenders, and I think judges held against lenders in those cases. It certainly is a way to delay a residential foreclosure.
Is it at least a stall tactic?
It's certainly,
buy yourself a few months.
You know what, Kathy? Under these circumstances, if a homeowner can buy themselves even a month, sometimes that's all it takes to get another job and to be able to get caught up. So, you know, certainly it's a tactic to avoid.
So what about the programs that are in tax incentives for people to buy new houses? I read that mortgage rates are still coming down. What does the market look like for people buying houses now?
The market is good from what I understand. You know, in our business, we look at a few different statistics, and it tends to get a little complicated for viewers sometimes because they then break all of those statistics down. But essentially, we're really looking at four things, and it goes to supply and demand. So we're looking at the number of homes that sell. We're looking at the price that those homes sell at. We're looking at the number of new homes being built or new permits being pulled for new homes, and we're looking at the number of foreclosures. And the supply and demand has still not balanced yet. So normally we'd have maybe a 5 or 6 month of excess inventory in any market, depending on where you live in the country, depending on the type of property you live in other words, condos, we have more inventory now than single family homes, will dictate, and also price range dictates, you know, what the supply and demand looks like. Here in the Tampa Bay area, we still have significantly more than 6 months worth of supplies, but it varies by location. In Miami, for example, which is probably one of the worst markets, we've got, I think, 40 or 45 months of supply of condominiums. So this is not a good time to be selling a condo in Miami.
Is it an okay time to try to sell a house right now?
Again, it depends on your exact geographic location, it depends on your price range, and it depends on the type of property. So a single-family home in a somewhat desirable semi-urban type area, and especially in that FHA price range, because those are the mortgages that are so easy to get, and those are the buyers who are looking for homes because of the extension of the first-time homebuyer tax credit, which has been expanded to include not only first-time homeowners anymore.
So that really has helped the market, that tax credit for people, first-time home buyers.
Yeah, it's a catch-22. You know, what most people are saying, and again, we're just guesstimating in these cases, is that it put, up until about 2 weeks ago, it had put an additional 400,000 home buyers into the marketplace, which is great. 400,000 extra units absorbed is excellent.
Right.
But when we look at that $8,000 price tag, what you have to realize is spread out over the millions of people who took advantage, and you look at it really only added 400,000 more than what would have bought anyway. So the actual cost for those 400,000 is closer to $40,000 or $50,000 per home buyer. So, you know, it's
that the government paid.
That the government paid.
It
actually cost about $45,000 extra to get those 400,000 extra homes sold.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wesley Chappell emails us, it took me 9 months for my mortgage company to help me. They modified my mortgage for me, and it helped a lot. But there are people like my brother in Detroit. His bank won't do anything but tell him to short sell his house. I'm thankful I won't lose my home, but sorry for the ones who can't get any help. Are you finding that banks are still telling people, short sale your house so we can't do anything for you?
Yeah.
I mean, he and his brother may be in different financial circumstances.
Different financial circumstances, different parts of the country, and different banks. Because don't forget, at the end of the day, all of these programs are about deciding whether it's better for the borrower and the lender to avoid a foreclosure or to move forward with the foreclosure. So if you're unfortunate enough to live in an area like Detroit, where there's a huge number of inventory in terms of homes, you know, a lot of the time the banks aren't willing to really work with you quite as much. There's, you know, significant problems with the equity in Detroit in particular. A lot of people are more people are upside down in their homes, so it's really very specific. But that's one of the reasons that we have the question button at foreclosurenationthebook.com, because everyone's situation is different. So if we can help people with their own specific situation, we're trying to do that.
Yeah, so maybe have your brother in Detroit email her and ask the question. Maybe she can help him. Danny in Sulphur Springs, let's see if we can help you. I was able to take advantage of Making Homes Affordable plan. I've made the required 3 payments on time, but since then I haven't heard from my mortgage company. I've called several times, but no luck to talk with a human. Boy, if we heard that a lot, Danny, we're with you on that. Now I can't make the payments because I don't know where to send the payments and how much they'll be. Any suggestion as to how to proceed? Wow, that's a wacky one.
Yeah, that is a little kooky. Normally they would be back in touch with you.
They're taking your money. You'd think they'd want more of your money.
Right, they want it. Where'd they go? Maybe the lender was foreclosed. What we want is 2 things I would suggest. Number 1 is keep a very, very good paper trail of all of your communications with the lender, so if you ever have to come back and show that you tried, you've got the documentation. Number 2 is to set those payments aside. Do not spend the money. Don't put it someplace else, because eventually they will be in contact with you and you'll need to put it back together.
Wow, interesting. All right.